Well, gunfire taking away innocence. Tonight, we're taking a close look at the issues of gun violence in Miami-Dade County, specifically at the children affected.
Police, parents, and educators have said it again and again. They're desperate for the bullets to stop. NBC6's Stephanie Bertini joins us live in the studio with more. Stephanie?
Jackie, Juwan, I looked at the statistics. The numbers are concerning. Too many children are dying by gunfire in Miami-Dade County, and too many others are watching.
Because she was crying.
She's just 3 years old, but already Jazz Page knows what it's like to truly miss somebody.
She can't come down, or she's just looking at me.
You think she's looking at you?
Yeah, she's looking down.
She also knows fear.
I was just scared.
Her innocence interrupted.
It's a light on the police car.
The day her 8-year-old sister, Jada Page, was hit by a bullet.
She tells me Jada's in heaven. She say, I know Jada's not coming back.
Rosalind Brown is living with the kind of pain only a mother could understand.
I ran to the porch, and my 3-year-old was standing there, but Jada was slumped over, and I could see where the bullet went in.
Your 3-year-old
was standing right there. And she would tell me, Mommy, you know Jada got shot in the head.
August 28, 2016, Jada and Jazz were playing outside on the front porch of their grandmother's Northwest Miami-Dade home. Investigators say a gunman drove by blasting bullets. Jada's father, James Page, was also outside. He was hit in the chest. He survived, even though investigators believe those bullets were only intended for him. Police say who pulled the trigger is still unknown. Like Jada, police say far too many children are getting caught in the crossfire.
We all want this to stop, for there to be zero number of murders involving kids.
With 2 months left to go this year, police statistics show 7 children killed by a gun. Miami-Dade County already at the same number by the end of last year, higher than 2014, higher than 2013. Losing a child this way, something this mother never thought she'd face.
I didn't realize the amount of kids that are affected by this. You know, only person I could think of recall was the King Carter.
King Carter, 6 years old, shot dead 6 months before Jada Page, also in broad daylight, also in Northwest Miami-Dade. Little King was right outside his home, on his way to buy candy with other kids from the neighborhood, when investigators say he was hit by a stray bullet from a drive-by shooting. It happened February 20th, 2016. 3 teenagers were later charged. Detectives believe it all started with a dispute on social media.
My whole family, the kids quiet. His 2 sisters, his brother quiet, they barely talk.
Santonio Carter's other children affected, just like little Jazz.
I was just crying.
It was a sad day, right?
Yes.
And they are not alone.
It'll break a grown man down. You got kids, little boys, little girls saying, King got killed, he was a little boy. Jada was a little girl. I'm finna die next.
As more children die from gun violence in Miami-Dade, other children feel the harsh reality. Guns can and will take lives. Jada Page and King Carter both killed in the northwest part of the county, but law enforcement says other parts of Miami-Dade are a problem too. Community leaders are looking for solutions and dealing with the damage to the children left behind. We continue our special report on Miami-Dade children affected by gun violence tomorrow night at 11. I'm reporting live in the studio, Stephanie Bertini, NBC6 News.
Tonight, we continue our look at children affected by gun violence. Crime statistics show far too many kids out there are dying by gunfire in Miami-Dade County.
So how can we solve the problem? It's a question on the minds of parents, educators, and police. The blood isn't the only reason why. The children who are watching are just as much of a concern.
NBC6 reporter Stephanie Bertini is live in the studio tonight with more on that. Stephanie.
Are children dying before their 10th birthdays? Teenagers pulling triggers. Talking to kids about this kind of thing isn't easy, but it's a necessary reality in Miami-Dade, where communities are demanding change and leaders are pushing for solutions. Outside this daycare, a reminder, Jada Page came here often to help out her grandmother who owns the place.
Jada got up the sky. She'll have it.
Her younger sister, 3-year-old Jazz, one of the many children who come here each weekday. This cell phone video how they remember Jada, often dancing in the front entrance of the daycare, feet from the billboard where now there's a poster on the 8-year-old's unsolved murder. Police say she was killed by a stray bullet from a drive-by shooting. Jazz standing right beside her when it hit.
Jada got hurt. The police came and helped us.
We carry this with us.
This type of detective work challenges the human spirit. Police statistics show 7 children murdered by gunfire. With 2 months before the end of this year, the number will either exceed or remain the same as the number of children killed by gunfire last year. So far in 2016, 24 shootings involving children. Last year, 40, up from 30 the year before, and 16 before that.
There are 2 issues at play here when it comes to gun violence that victimizes kids. Number one, the victims. The other side that's often ignored are those who witness it. And what we're learning is more and more kids are demonstrating symptoms very similar to post-traumatic stress syndrome.
It's a major problem for Miami-Dade public schools. When 6-year-old King Carter died after police say a stray bullet hit him back in February, grief counselors sat with his classmates. The district has a crisis management program to deal with issues like the gunfire tainting childhoods.
Many of these young children have witnessed the aftermath of homicide. They have seen bodies in the street. They certainly hear gunshots on a fairly regular basis.
Jada and King died in the Northwest, an area that's problematic for Miami-Dade police, where they say kids are shooting kids. 3 teens are facing murder charges in King's case, even though the child was clearly not their intended target.
When they lose hope, they lose fear. When they lose fear, they will pull a trigger. They don't believe they're going to make it past 18. So if we can break that cycle.
Break the cycle. It's one of many messages behind the protests in communities where the violence exists. Community leaders part of the fight for change. That fight, the fuel behind growing partnerships between police, county leaders, educators, and the public to prevent a new generation of violence before it's too late.
It takes all of us, and I think the stands that right now the mayor's taken, our county commissioners, Miami-Dade County schools.
To protect the innocence every child deserves.
I can use magic.
To help Jada?
Yes.
Before their little hearts are hardened. Miami-Dade leaders are now focusing on prevention and intervention. Educators and police say it's important to get to these kids before it's too late. To help them understand guns are not the answer. Live in the studio tonight, Stephanie Bertini, NBC6 News.